Hello, and welcome to our final unit, Contemporary Drawing. In the prior units, you have been introduced to linear perspective and how to model form. In contemporary drawing, those techniques are used, but we also begin to work in an expanded field of drawing. That means that in addition to working with traditional tools such as pen, pencil, and brush, we begin to integrate new processes such as cutting, scratching, sewing, or using new materials such as thread, wax, gold, and so on. The 5 major focuses we will work through are identity, place and space, time and memory, power and protest, and systems and process. We will begin with identity in relation to contemporary drawing. William Kentridge is a South African artist. He was witness to the dissolution of the South African apartheid. For those of you unfamiliar with the apartheid, it was a system of institutionalized racial segregation which existed from 1948 to the early 1990s. It was an authoritarian political culture that ensured South Africa was dominated politically, socially, and economically by the nation's minority white population. Bearing witness to this, Kentridge's work often transmutes political events into allegory. An allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. His work is often unscripted or without a storyboard, so as to record the evolution of events. This is seen as a way to preserve additions and acknowledge erasure, which is symbolic in his use of allegory when representing the apartheid. Please take a minute to watch a portion of this video, Felix in Exile, as you will be better able to get a sense of his process. Felix in Exile depicts the barren East Rand landscape as witness to exploitation and violence against natural and human resources. Inci Evener is a Turkish artist who layers objects and images to form a labyrinth or web. Her work often focuses on the scrutinization of the female body and death's imminence. Feel free to use ink or experiment with adding water to your graphite shavings. See what happens and the effects you get. Then ask, how do these drips work to deliver your message? Gray Foy is a figurative surrealist. We worked a bit through the concept of figurative surrealism with your Mr. Potato Head drawing. Foy's landscapes and interiors convey a sense of weightlessness, velocity, and amorphousness, or the way the body mimics their surroundings. See how the skirt of the dress mimics the curtains? Notice the way your eye moves around this drawing. It is rather exciting to look at because of how many objects are represented, in addition to the rhythmic movement of the line work. Here is a drawing by Grant Wood. He is a Midwest regionalist who depicts his life and those in his immediate surroundings. In his images, he pays homage to the dignity of ordinary Americans while capturing the spirit of rural life. Notice the meticulous and caring nature of his work. This is something to think about in your own work. How does going slow or fast affect the overall result and message you want to convey? The Meticulous Nature by Grant Wood conveys a sense of reverence and respect for the subject matter. Next, we will discuss place and space. When thinking of place and space, you want to think of how to represent your immediate surroundings. These types of drawings show a desire to open up rarefied spaces for all to enjoy. For Matt Bollinger, his work tries to resolve his feelings of what American life is and to examine the failures of capitalism. He received his BFA in painting and creative writing from the Kansas City Art Institute, then went on to obtain an MFA from the Rhode Island School of Design, or RISD, one of the most prestigious MFA programs in the country. Here is another example of Bollinger's style. You'll notice that he models form with hatching and cross-hatching. While these drawings do give a sense of being hurried, they're actually quite meticulous in nature. Bollinger also works in animation. He has a similar way of working as Kentridge by addressing erasure through leaving the evidence of marks from the prior image. Please take a look at this video like you did with Kentridge's. Fernando Léger is a French painter working in a cubist manner. His work was a commentary on industrial refuse in the landscape. When looking around you, especially in Winona, I see so much industry here. With industry comes pollution. Léger's drawings is an amalgamation of the elements of an industrial site. Ask yourself, what do you see in your surroundings that may be outdated or not in use, that is now just left to rot? How does that affect the way that you see your surroundings? Drawing is inherently time-based, as opposed to the instantaneousness of photography. Every time you work on a drawing or painting, you are continuing to build upon the time and memory of that work. When representing time and memory in artwork, you may work in a sequential manner by representing different scenes within one single work, such as Dali's Gangsterism and Goofy Visions of New York. All of the scenes capture certain elements of one's memory of a place or the subconscious memory that is evoked when thinking of specific time in one's life. Jeff Koons' Lips from 2000 is a collage of memorable moments with objects that are simultaneously related and unrelated. It is for the viewer to meditate on and to come to their own conclusion on what message Koons is trying to convey. One interpretation could be that these are objects that symbolize one's memory of summer, with the corn and bright citrus and strawberry, or it could be an homage to a specific location. Michael Ditchburn approaches the topic of memory through the use of axonometric perspective, which is where the objects are rotated around one or more axes to reveal multiple sides of the object. This type of perspective was developed by Asian artists before linear perspective. There is a nod to the past while representing objects of the present, such as an iPhone. In Ditchburn's work, you'll notice a theme of repetition and rhythm, which promotes the viewer to stay within the scene and to stay present. Here is an example of axonometric perspective. Notice how the subjects are stacked upon each other, giving a frontal perspective that crowds the composition. This is another gray foy. A way to think about time and memory is to think about the objects you choose to represent. This glove, for example, has a very specific connotation of time and place. You want to ask yourself when looking at objects, what era was this object used and for what purpose? This is a rather elegant glove with fur or feather trim, beading, and embroidery. What type of person would wear this glove? What era would women wear these types of gloves? Maybe think about the objects in your life and what they symbolize to us now, but may become relics of the past in our near future. Power and protest drawings engage with the world around them to draw attention to systems and abuses of power. I'm choosing to show you Kentridge again to demonstrate that these 5 focuses of contemporary drawing do not have clear and set boundaries. Not only does Kentridge speak to identity, his work also is inherently political. Here we see Kentridge utilizing a manuscript for the background. We see directional lines leading from the loudspeaker to the head and the heart of the downtrodden listener. The word cambio translates to change or evolution. Knowing Kentridge's works in allegory, there's a good chance this represents his thoughts on apartheid or another political event. Felix Vallotton's Le Charge bears witness to the frequent social unrest roiling in Paris in the 1890s. The use of scale with the laid out people in the background depicted as smaller, so further in the distance, and the larger scale of the policemen pushing into the foreground is further accentuated by the use of positive and negative space. The background is almost at rest because of the amount of white space and the placement of characters, while the foreground is much more active and blocked in, especially since the use of black for the coats of the policemen combined to form the illusion of a wall. You also see that the bottom character is looking out to the viewer. When this device is used, the artist propositions the viewer to ask what their role is in the scene. For example, are you complacent or are you an active participant in the protests? Protest art is all around you. Similar to Vallotton's Le Charge, Steve Mumford's documentation of a protest at the Justice Center in Portland, Oregon on July 28th of 2020 demonstrates an active scene. Rather than meticulously drawing every detail, he was attempting to capture, rather than meticulously drawing every detail, he captures the energy of the scene through rapid gestures. Even his text is scribbled, as if he is attempting to capture every spoken word. This type of protest art is best done in person so as to capture the sense of the surroundings, which assists the viewer to understand the magnitude of the content matter. Systems and process art examine how to think about drawing as a way of recording time. Matt Mulliken is an American artist who was a member of the Pictures Generation, which sought to expose cultural tropes by working through appropriation and montage. The Pictures Generation examined stereotypes in popular imagery, just like the pop artist did, and reworked well-known images to challenge the notion of individuality and authorship. Other members of the Pictures Generation, whose names you may recognize, are Cindy Sherman, Robert Longo, Sherry Levine, Richard Prince, and Louise Lawler. Mulliken's work specifically is concerned with the systems of knowledge, meaning, and language within signification. Mulliken uses frottage, or rubbing, to explore the relationship between perception and reality, or in other words, the ability to see something and the ability to represent it, which is where the technique of frottage comes into use. In Mulliken's drawing, we associate these symbols as rules or as sources of information. For example, take the character P. It is more than just a character in the alphabet. It is when represented as a sign. In the United States, the letter P in signification or signification often represents access to parking. This brings into question, where are we? What type of environment are you in when you see this sign with the letter P? Are you near home? Are you in a city? Think of all the associations you have with parking lots and spaces. Does safety come to mind? Does seeing that sign stress you out? Kenneth Martin is a process artist. Process artists use varying methods to make work that are dependent on planning and chance. This drawing was made through a predetermined numeric system. In the bottom left corner, there's a link to the Tate Museum, which gives you a rundown of Martin's process. If you were to choose to draw in this way for your final project, I just request that you provide a detailed write-up of how your work came to be, but your method does not need to be visually represented, such as Martin's is here on the bottom in your final rendering. Okay, so that wraps up our final unit for this winter session. I recommend that you revisit Unit 1, 2, and 3, consult your sketchbook, and do some independent research on contemporary drawing focuses, and then begin to sketch and write out some ideas. Under additional resources in this unit, you will find a Word file titled Unit 4 Project Ideation. You will submit this in your Project 4 or in your Unit 4 PowerPoint, as that'll help me better understand why you've chosen your topic, and it also gives you an opportunity to greater elaborate on your process.